Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. As promised, this episode is our NBA Emirates Cup Championship recap. We saw the Milwaukee Bucks down the Oklahoma City Thunder 97-81. We also seen Giannis put up a huge triple-double, 26, 19, and 10. Dame Lillard added 23 points himself. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was held to 8 of 24 shooting. He had 21 points. Hawkinstein had 16 points himself. Jalen Williams 18 for Oklahoma. Chris Middleton missed the game. Probably injury management. Is just coming back from the double ankle surgery. But takeaways from this game. Okay, first off, as I said, Milwaukee's turning things around. This game most definitely showed that they're turning their season around. And they're doing a lot better, even defensively. And I believe defensively, Giannis and Brook Lopez they've anchored that defense, and most of that comes from the paint. But they did a good job on perimeter defense as well last night. I don't know how well that will last. But I do know they did a pretty good job holding the team to 81 points. And Oklahoma is a top 10 offense in the league, and they held them to 81 points. So very good defensively there. As I mentioned, Shai Gilgeous was held to 8 to 24 shooting. Most of the time he was being defended by Jackson, the rookie that Milwaukee has, and very impressive showing for him. Now, why does the Emirates Cup work? The Emirates Cup works because you incentivize it. You give incentives to players like the 500,000. These guys are getting $500,000 to go out and play and win, and all you have to do is just win these games and you get $500,000. A lot of players, as I mentioned, like for rookies on the teams that are still on these rookie scale contracts, that is motivation to them. It also gives like excitement to the fans. I think that's a big part of it. Excitement to the fans, because we look forward to this in the playoffs where they're close, physical, highly contested games. Well, you get that in December now, and you saw how Milwaukee got up for these games and how Milwaukee just fought and stayed undefeated throughout the Cup. Very impressive. Also, congratulations to Taurean Prince and Darvin Ham, who are both undefeated in NBA Emirates Cup play. So that's big ups to them. And want to also talk about Damian Lillard's been shooting lights out. I want to take anything away from him on that. But I believe it's just how Giannis has been playing. As I mentioned a couple episodes ago, he's playing like 1A or 1B, wherever you want to go. Him and Jokic, best two players in the league. They're both number one. 1A, 1B. It's both the same. They're both just playing at that level that no one's reaching. As for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I thought this game was a big test for them. They need that playoff type atmosphere, that physical game, and they needed to compete well in there. I feel up to this point, up to the championship game, they did compete well. They were doing really good, getting out leads. Their defense was good. Their defense was still good. They allowed under 100 points. But your problem was offensively. You can't go like at this point and only put up 81, and your star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that is supposed to lead you, and if your team's struggling, he's supposed to be the guy, and he puts up 21 on 8 of 24 shooting. Like, you can have that if you're Oklahoma. So that's my takeaway for Oklahoma, is they still need experience in these games. They're still lacking the experienced players that know how to win in these championship caliber games. Of course, the NBA championship is going to be a lot more highly contested than the NBA Cup. But it's still that caliber of game. It still brings that physicality out. It brings that toughness. And you have to compete better in these games. You're starting to see a trend with Oklahoma, and I think they need to bring in a veteran caliber star that's been there before, and that may help take them over top. But until then, I think we're still going to see we're just going to see them not show all the way up when it gets down to it. And that's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but you can see the lack of experience in games like this. You also saw how evident it was that Giannis had been here before. He won a championship. He's won MVP awards, Finals MVP, now Emirates Cup MVP. He's done a lot. He's multiple-time All-Star, most definitely a superstar in the league. And the experience of him being there proved to be too much for Oklahoma. Also, at this point, I've been hearing a lot of debates on how do you guard Giannis at this point. I mean, he's shooting over 50% in every game. Right now, that's nearly impossible to defend. But the best way, I think, to do it is I think you have to build a wall in the paint, kinda, with your bigs, and keep him outside and make him stick to those jumpers. His jumpers have gotten better, but if I have to choose, I'd rather have Giannis taking jumpers than try and finish over my head at the rim, like dunking it or powering it through and laying it up. Either way, I'd prefer him taking jumpers. So I think that's really the only way, and you aren't going to stop him, but maybe slow him down. And I mean, the answer to the question, I would assume no one really has it, because he hasn't shot under 50% in a game yet this season. So no one currently in the league has this answer to the question of how do you stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, I mean, we're looking and seeing, is it going to be enough for Milwaukee to make a deep playoff run? I don't know about that. I still see them right now as maybe a second round exit team. I don't think they're up there with Boston, Cleveland, New York, and Orlando when healthy yet. Yeah, I think they're getting there. I think they're getting closer. And solid 5, but right now that's all I see them as is a solid 5. Again, I could be wrong, but their perimeter defense needs to be a lot better. And shooting themselves, it's improved over the last couple of weeks, but I still think that they need to improve on their shooting as well. They don't take as many threes or make as many as teams like Cleveland, Boston, even Dallas, Golden State, teams on the other side too. So it's just interesting. You saw two different styles, and it was interesting that the physical style won, because Milwaukee kept at the physical game, and that's what they wanted. And they got what they wanted, and they won because they kind of controlled the pace of the game. I think that's where the experience comes into play. But anyway, it was a good game. It got to some exciting games in December and got fans on their feet for these games. So I like that. And if this is the direction the Cup's going, I hope it stays like this and it stays this competitive. On Friday, I'm going to talk about the All-Star changes, the changes they made to the All-Star game. And I'll give my opinion on it. But that will be on Friday. I'll see you then.